What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about SRM Entertainment, or as it's better known, TronStrategy. Where are we at here? Uh, I saw that I just saw that Tron MicroStrategy's trading volume has surpassed that of Alibaba, 1.19 billion, and Tencent, 700 million. I don't know if that's true. TronStrategy's daily volume has surpassed 1.8 billion. I don't know if that's true. The turnover is 1.8 billion, sure, but the volume's 251 million. I don't know. Depending on how you want to look at it, sure, but I would say it's more like 250. That's still awesome. $250 million on $158 million market cap, still phenomenal. I definitely do believe that the market and the people are enthusiastic about this initiative. You will continue to work hard. This is a big deal, guys. SRM, for those of you guys that don't know, it's essentially Justin Sun's and Tron's take on Bitcoin and MicroStrategy, right? MicroStrategy's Bitcoin strategy, or now it's just known strategy, right? They went from MicroStrategy, they're going to strategy, then they're going to be called MacroStrategy once they're worth trillions of dollars. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised, right? Michael Saylor's Real Original. $7.40 right here. I wouldn't be surprised if we found a little support here, but also we were to go lower. We're going to talk about that in a second. I want to compare TRX to SRM as we would MSTR to BTC, right? And see if we can concoct where the price is going to go by the end of the cycle. I think we're going to be a hell of a lot higher by the end of the cycle. If all that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's get into it. Okay, so looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, you had a breakaway gap. Sorry, I didn't mean to draw that line. You had a breakaway gap here. I doubt that you're going to fill this gap, right? A lot of people think that you have to fill all gaps. You don't have to. Breakaway gaps are kind of a good exception there, but I do expect you get to the gap, if not even a little bit into the gap. Typically with these, you expect to go back to where the gap formed, maybe just above, maybe just below. That area there would probably take us below $6. If not, maybe even we go below like $4.50, you guys. We really could go, and we're at 733. So is this a good time to buy right now? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, this is a fantastic move overall, right? You moved up 533% yesterday, but even if you're looking at it here, you had a high back in April, on April 23rd. This was the highest price that you saw since the end of February, and even going into the end of May. You hadn't seen prices that were higher than this. You could have bought that high, and even now, after this 20% drop today, you could be up 14x. Overall, that was a 19, almost a 21x move actually right there. So imagine all the people that bought over that 3 months essentially of just buying opportunity below this. These are crypto-like gains for a crypto-like company, man. It's crazy, crazy stuff. So 533% is nice, but man, there is some opportunity to be had if you were on the inside. 1 hour time frame here. 1 hour time frame, looking like we want to come down a little bit. Okay, $7.33 now. I wouldn't be too surprised if we moved up before we move down. If we were to find resistance at prior areas of closing support here, or even at our wicking areas of support here, maybe you move up to $8, or maybe you even move up to $10, something like that. You could get a double top or something like that before moving lower, but I do anticipate that we will see lower prices. I wouldn't really, not a financial advisor, I wouldn't be too keen on making a play off of this right now. There have been some rather opportunistic moments, right? From a high to a low, you dropped 32% there, and then from a low to a high here, you pumped 32% there. It's definitely been tradable over the past like 8 hours of tradable moments here. But I would just wait this out, because I very much do believe that even though we're at 732, with the possibility of coming up a little bit more, I think that if you wait, you can probably snag this thing below $6, and that's going to be a very promising opportunity right there, because I think Tron and SRM as a result will continue to grow, right? This is essentially like a Tron treasury, TRX treasury. They're going to issue debt backed in their stock, right? And then buy back Tron with that debt to add to the value of this company, just the exact same way that MSTR is doing it, right? If we're looking at TRX here on a weekly time frame, you can see that this thing has been consistently moving up. It's not performing like a crypto at all, man. It's just moving up consistently, methodically. It looks like the S&P, man, just moving up over time, slowly but surely. You likely do pull back here. You found resistance at your overbought zone. I bet you do pull back here, but I would expect that you probably find support around like 25 cents. You're at 27 cents, 25 cents or so, something like that. Nothing too crazy, but again, whatever drop Tron has, I already had it drawn, it'd probably be like an 8 to 10% drop from here. That would probably be amplified for SRM, okay? My expectation would be that if Tron drops 8 to 10%, over the days, over the weeks to come, this thing will probably drop 16 to 20% or more, right? And that would take us below $6. And I wouldn't be surprised if we dropped more, especially because it's so new, and that volatility, especially to the downside for Tron, could reflect negatively in the SRM price. But I don't expect that we'll go below $4. Maybe we do, but I think 4.30 will probably hold as support. $6 will probably not hold as support. So somewhere and anywhere in between there is where we're going to find some support. If we're looking at this on a 15-minute time frame, we take this low to high here. Come on now, low to high. You do have the 1886 to the 2618 area between 461 to 567. I really do like this area as an area for support right here. This is probably where we go. How long is it going to take us to get there? I don't know. Maybe it takes us a day. Maybe it takes us a week. Maybe it takes us a month. I don't know how long it's going to take us to get there. But once we get down there, we're probably not just going to rip through the roof. We'll probably consolidate, mess around, get a high, get a higher low, get another high, get a higher low, whatever, and then we'll break out sometime later, maybe going into the end of the month, if not sometime in July. Okay, that's the expectation. But for now, I would expect, even if we go up from here, I would expect we still have some downside overall. I want to talk about what my prospects are for this thing, how high I think it can go by the end of the cycle. And to do that, we're going to base it off of Tron, okay, off of TRX. Okay, we'll even look at BTC and MSTR real quick. Okay, looking at MicroStrategy and BTC, dramatically higher market caps on both of them, right? Absolutely. We look at BTC here from November of 2022 to where it's at now. Okay, it's up about 6.7x. 6.7x. MSTR, in that same amount of time, from its bear cycle lows to where it is now, is up 28x. Okay, 6.7x, 28x. It's basically like a 4x right there, right? It's MSTR is moving up at like 4 times the pace of Bitcoin, essentially, is what I'm getting at there, right? Maybe we see the same thing with TRX and Serum. 4x, maybe it's more. Maybe SRM moves up 10x whatever TRX does, okay? So just keep in mind, we're going to get a big range here, but there's going to be some big numbers coming up here in a second, all right? TRX, Tron, right now, if we're looking at it, hold up. It's number 9, I believe. Yes, number 8. Oh, wow, you flipped Dogecoin. Dogecoin dropped. You didn't grow into number 8. You actually dropped into it, right? Dogecoin just dropped out of it, I guess. Dropped out of number 8. Good job, Tron. Number 8, climbing the rankings. It was at number 11, number 10, and just slowly climbing the rankings, man. Nobody's talking about it. I don't get it, man. I mean, some people have talked about this, like TronStrategy, but nobody mentions how this. Everyone talks about SWE or Hyperliquid whenever it comes to flipping Solana. Tron is going to do it, man. They're going to flip it. Market cap, $26 billion right now, okay? I think we have some serious potential. This thing will be worth hundreds of billions of dollars by the end of the cycle. Like we're probably going to see a $500 billion market cap or more by the end of the cycle. I expect the average altcoin to do a 25x or more from here. Let's act like Tron doesn't even do average performance, okay? Let's pretend Tron does sub-average performance, okay? We don't get a 25x. Let's say we only get a 15x. Why do I expect the average altcoin to do a 25x? Some people might be wondering that. Let's go over that real quick, okay? For that, actually, it might be better to answer it with Bitcoin. Let's just see here. Hold on. Going on detours here, but we'll come back to the main point, okay? I'll try to make this quick. So, very first bull market here for Bitcoin, high to the bear market low there. You can see that our next bull market, we went all the way up to the 2272. We topped off just above there, okay? Just above the 2272. Bitcoin loves this 2272. Typically, it does go just above the 2272. We take the high there in that bull cycle to the low here in the bear cycle. And you guessed it, the next cycle we went where? Just above the 2272. Yet again. Okay? We go to the next cycle, we take a high to the low, and you'd be surprised to find that we did not go to the 2272. In fact, we stopped at the 1618. Okay? 1618. There are a lot of reasons for this. We had a double top. We'd never seen a double top in Bitcoin's history before. Quantitative tightening had begun. Interest rates were climbing. Post-COVID times, right? Ukraine and Russia were at open war or open conflict, whatever you want to call it, months after that. And some people act like that didn't impact the price, man. I mean, if there's open conflict in the world, the people in the world, the big players, the big money, they're aware of it months in advance, right? It's not something that just happens overnight. This is something it's like Israel and Iran, right? This conflict is not something new, right? This is something that's been brewing for a long time. And anybody that's caught by surprise, you're just not paying attention. I think we got held down by the 1618 for various reasons. The dollar, high inflation, all kinds of stuff that last cycle, right? High to low here. My expectation is we don't have any of that negative stuff going on now, other than, yes, Israel and Iran are at war, but they've been at war since before I was born, man. This isn't a new conflict, right? No offense. It's just I think markets react poorly to uncertainty. And with Israel and Iran, I don't know if there's so much uncertainty. I think it's a good media piece. I think the media is eating it up, and they're loving to blow it up into like World War III and making and scaring people because fear is very engaging for them. But I don't think that that's what's going to happen, right? I think that we've seen this happen so many times between Israel and Iran. We know what's going to happen. There's going to be a ceasefire announced. There might be more bloodshed first, and it's terrible because kids are dying, families are dying, innocent people are dying. It's really terrible, but unfortunately, that's probably what it's going to take for these people to calm themselves down. But I don't believe this cycle that Bitcoin's going to stop at the 1618. I believe it's going to stop at the 2272. And probably as it has historically, it'll go just above there. We've got quantitative easing coming back in. Interest rates are not hiking. They're probably going to drop by the end of this year. Even if they don't drop tomorrow at the FOMC meeting, they'll probably drop by the end of this year, or at the very least not hike. Inflation's at lows, right? Things are calm. We got Uncle Donnie in the White House. I think the economy's going to be fine. And things are really going to be robust this cycle. Okay, there's a crypto-friendly administration in the White House and in various countries around the world. People are implementing crypto strategic reserves, all kinds of stuff, bullishly inclined for crypto. Okay, and there's people that are panic selling because Israel and Iran are in open conflict, which they've basically been in open conflict since like the 70s, man. So, like genuinely, if you don't know that, look into the history books. It's very obvious. But the 2272 is where I think we're going to go. We look at others. How does this answer why I think we're going to go all the way up here? How does this answer the question of where TRX is going to go? Just wait. Others typically follow suit with Bitcoin, okay? We take a high to a low. You can see that others topped off at the 1618 last cycle too, as Bitcoin did, right? We don't have the history back here, but I'm sure if we took the high to low, that would have been a 2272 extension right there. We don't have the history to back that up, but it copied Bitcoin in the fibs. I'm assuming we're going to copy Bitcoin this cycle in the fibs as well. If we go to the 2272, right, the growth from the current price would be something on the lines like a 26x or more, probably just above there, right? 26x, 30x, something like that or more. The average altcoin is going to do a 26x or more between now and the end of the cycle. That's my expectation, right? If you don't get on board with that, fine. Maybe we go to the golden ratio and we see a 7x. But even then, let's just pretend that Tron only does a 7x. Let's be bearish. Let's be pessimistic, or to some people realistic. I'm sorry, that's not a 7x. That is a 7x. Okay, 7x. And then we'll build out to my case. Okay, we'll start off with your case, then we'll build out to my case. If TRX sees a 7x by the end of the cycle, it performs on average with, let's even get more bearish, it performs less than average, which I doubt it does. But let's give it a 4x or a 5x. Let's give it a 5x. Okay, $1.40. That's where it goes by the end of the cycle. If it does a 5x, remember, BTC to MSTR, we saw a 4x times growth amplified in MicroStrategy versus Bitcoin. That's what we saw. But Tron has a lower market cap than Bitcoin. SRM, Entertainment, has a lower market cap than MicroStrategy. I would bet we see this multiply even further. MSTR grew 28x. Bitcoin grew like 6.7x, right? And that's basically a 4x in growth MSTR versus Bitcoin. You understand what I'm saying? So if Tron grows 5x, what's 4 times that? That's a 20x for SRM. A 20x from here, let's get it all the way up. 20x from here would put you at about $155. Maybe even a little bit less than that, actually. Sorry, a little bit less. About between $145, $150, somewhere in that range right there, right? And that's if we do a 4x from the current price. I theorize that we'll see more than that. I think that a 4x in growth from Tron's growth, right? If Tron grows 5x, SRM will do 4 times that, which would be a 20x, 5 times 4, right? So just correlating that to Bitcoin, seeing what we've seen from the Mac Daddy MSTR to Bitcoin, what could that imply for Tron? We're amplifying that a little bit because these are lower market cap products, Tron and SRM. Likely, TRX does not see a 5x. Likely, I think it sees more than that. Let's say if the average coin does a 26x, let's just cut that in half and say that Tron sees a 13x. Okay? 13x times 4, right? You with me? We're talking about a 50x or more in this thing by the end of this cycle. $380 or more. 50x from here, if we get this, market cap is 128 right now. 10x would be 1.3 billion, let's just say 1.3. So times 5 would be basically like 6.5 billion, I think, if I did my math correctly. $6.5 billion for the only TronStrategy stock that exists and what's effectively the TronStrategy stock. And I am going to post a link in the description to better explain why this stock is so important, why it's different, why I think it is more postured to grow at a faster rate and at a more prominent rate than any of these other companies that are implementing Solana or Ethereum to their balance sheet, because they're not directly partnered with Solana and Ethereum. This company is directly partnered with Justin Sun and the Tron Foundation and the Trumps. And somebody said that they're posting online that saying that Eric Trump said that he's not publicly invested or publicly involved. He said the words, "I'm not publicly involved." He could have just said, "I'm not involved at all. I have no involvement, zero involvement," but he says, "I'm not publicly involved," right? That's speak for the people who are listening, as in private involvement. He's got private involvement, and of course he does, right? He's involved through people, through the companies that he's involved with. It's like a secondary involvement, but the Trump family's still involved with this stuff, you guys. Eric and Trump Jr. They're the companies that are invested in this, the companies that are partaking in this SRM, this whole reverse merger here. Watch the video in the link, man. I'll pin a comment. It'll all make sense, okay? And he said the words, "I'm not publicly involved." He could have just said, "I'm not involved at all. There's no involvement. I have zero involvement in this project. I wish him well. I wish him the best. I love Justin Sun, but I have zero involvement at all." But he didn't say that. He said, "I wish him the best. I love Tron. I'm the biggest fan of Tron and Justin Sun." He said that, really good things, but people are focusing on, "I'm not publicly involved," and they're twisting it, saying that he's not involved at all. I think if he wasn't involved at all, I think he would have said that. They're pretty direct, and I think they're also clever, the Trumps, and they know what they're doing. They know, and maybe I'm connecting dots that don't deserve to be there, but I think the writing's on the wall that the Trumps are involved with this to some degree, whether it's public involvement or private involvement or through a secondary means, right? They're like second cousins of involvement, but they are involved. SRM, if TRX sees half, and I don't think it sees half, it's outperformed TRX, you guys. You look at others. Hold up now, okay? From the bear market low to where they are now, the average altcoin is up 4.3x, or sorry, 3.3x right now, 230%, 3.3x, okay? Tron, from its bear market low, is up double that, right? We're up double that. My history in the bull markets has taught me one thing. The top performers continue to top perform. They tend to, right? This is my third bull cycle. If Tron's outperforming everything right now, I don't think it slows down. We're being nice, right? If this seems optimistic, overreaching for what we could see Tron do, I don't think you're paying attention, man. I don't think you're paying attention to the writing on the wall. The average altcoin's expected to do 26x by the end of the cycle, okay? 26x. We're going to do that now. What if we get a 26x for Tron? We go up to 730. I think we'll go up a little bit more. I think we're going to hit $10 by the end of the cycle, guys. Tron's going to hit $10. We're at 27 cents right now. It's going to be at $10. If Tron sees a 26 to 27x by the end of the cycle, multiply that by 4 or more, and you might just get something that's on the lines of like $868 to $1,000, right? Something like that. I genuinely believe that this stock, between now and the end of the crypto cycle, which might be between now and Q4 of this year or Q2 of next year, between now and that time range, you're going to see a 100 and something X with SRM. That's what I think is coming our way. But again, not a financial advisor. That's just from the current price, right? Let's put it right at like 106X there. If Tron does a 26X times 4, that's 104X actually, my bad. So that'd be 104X. I jumped the gun a little bit there. 104X. Whatever, right there. 756. Okay? And I'm multiplying Tron's growth times 4 because that's what we saw with MSTR to BTC. So we're calculating based off that. And if anything, I think that we could see more growth only because we have lower market cap products here, right? Lower market caps equals more growth normally. If you're expecting similar results as far as growth goes. 100x, 104x there. from the current price of 740. If we were to drop where I think we're going to, which is probably going to be below $6, maybe we go to 555. That's a great number. That turns it into 136x, right? That's an extra 30x. If you just wait, you know what I mean? If you just wait. So I think this thing is very promising. I think that mom and dad and grandma and grandpa should be buying this thing. I'm going to call my grandma and grandpa, get them to buy this thing. That's because I really do think it's going to do well. This might be one of the only stocks you'll ever hear me say has 100x or more potential. I think it's going to go crazy, man. Justin Sun is a outspoken figure in the crypto space. Whether you like him or you love him or you hate him, some people don't like him. Everybody's aware of what he's doing. He's a very, very attention-grabbing figure in the space, and I think that this is going to succeed well. Speaking of attention-grabbing, the Trumps are also involved. Don't believe me? Check out the video in the pinned comment. It'll explain it all. I got nothing else for you guys, right? We're not even touching the surface, right? Or we're barely starting to touch the surface now, okay? Because TRX, I think, will actually move up to $10. And if it moves up to $10, that's a 30-something X. We didn't even do that final calculation. You can just assume that it's going to be more, right? It's going to be more. More than what we got here. Probably around $1,000 or more by the end of the cycle for SRM. And that, from here, let's just see. I mean, what would that do? $1,000 or more. That's 100, and let's just call it 150x to make the math easier. 150x, well, 100x from 127 million would put it at a $12.7 billion market cap. It's basically plus 6, so it's about 18, 19 billion. You're basically looking at a $20 billion market cap by the end of the cycle. You're starting at $127 million now. I think so. I think you're going to get there. Absolutely. You guys, there's so much going for Tron. There's so much going. Everybody talks about SWE or Hyperliquid or all these nonsense. Cardano, no offense. Chainlink, you don't have a chance at flipping Solana. Tron does. USDT, the highest in value by market cap stablecoin. Over half of that value is on the Tron network. They're TUSDTs, right? They're Tron, they're USDT, Tron, whatever the token would be for Tron, but they're Tron USDTs. They're on the Tron ecosystem. Some big stuff's coming our way. It's been outperforming everything. I think it'll continue to do so. The average performance is expected to be like a 20-something X, right? We went pessimistic. Even at the pessimistic levels, this thing has a lot of potential. This thing, even at the pessimistic levels, is going to do like a 20X or more by the end of this cycle. Let alone if it does what I think it will, which is over 100X. I got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Bye.